This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Well, it's a mix of snow and rain, and it looks different depending on your elevation. Our crews are checking out conditions this morning from the West Hills to Salem, and Drive 8 is also roving around the metro area. We're going to check in with all of them this morning in just a few minutes.
But first, we really quickly would love your help getting some eyes on the ground for conditions in your area. You can send us any of your photos, videos, any tips about spots we should know about. Go ahead and text them to us on the number on your screen. That's 503-226-5088, and we'll show them throughout the morning.
All right, so let's get right to Rod Hill on this Tuesday morning. Never mind the fact that it's Valentine's Day, Rod.
Yes.
We had to talk about the snow right now.
I will add to your comments that this pattern has also been somewhat scattered, meaning just because you have snow at your house at, say, 500 feet doesn't mean 2 miles away they have snow at 500 feet. Here's a look at what radar is showing. I've got the color table up that is simple. The rain is green and the snow is white. There's one more disturbance that's offshore, showing offshore rain that's tracking more down into the mid to south valley, and it's tough to tell how much that's going to break up, and therefore it's tough to tell how much more total precipitation we're going to get. Right now, between Salem, Portland, Battleground up in Longview, you can see there's not much going on. There's mainly some flurry areas, and that's about it. Temperatures are a huge part of our morning story. We thought the lowest elevations would hold above freezing, going back to our sunrise forecast yesterday morning, and that has generally held true. 36 in downtown right now, 36 at Pearson Airfield up in Vancouver, but there are lots of spots that are close. Remember Hillsborough, now you're up to 200 feet, 33 degrees. There's 1,000 feet in Happy Valley where it's 31. There's Salem, which is 210 feet at McNary Field, holding at 34 degrees. It's 32 this morning out in Estacada. So it's a good morning. If you have a car that shows you what the temperature is, keep your eyes on that. You could go into cold pockets and find some potential icy roadways. Chris McGinnis is following all that, and he'll be up to show us any concerns. 36 right now out at the airport. We'll be all dry once we get through mid-morning. 40 at noon. We get sun developing today. We'll be in the low to mid-40s for a high. That's your forecast for now.
All right, Rod, thank you very much. When I drove in this morning, the freeways were just wet. I did see a few flurries in the air, but we know that's not the case quite everywhere.
So Devin Haskins is one of our reporters out this morning. We have team coverage, Devin, and we thought if there was going to be snow in the city, we might find it there in the West Hills. What are you seeing this morning?
I think that's a pretty safe bet as soon as you get up to that higher elevation here in the West Hills. So yeah, so we're at Cornell and Skyline right now, and this is probably, and I hate to use the word worst, this is probably the worst we've seen, the most snow we've seen. Other times driving up here or whatever, it's been even at higher elevations. So right now our phone says we're about 900 feet. Higher elevations, it's been clearer roads, but here at Skyline Cornell, kind of that slushier, wet snow. But I mean, not much on the roads. We've seen the tracks that you can see, the de-icers. A dusting. Maddie just got in my ear and said a dusting. Let's go a dusting of snow up here right now. So it is kind of like, it is snowing right now. At times it has not snowed, and then it has been like heavy snow. Right now it's just kind of, it's coming down. I'm not trying to downplay it, but it's like Rod just said. You could go 2 miles and it's not snowing, and you can go, here where we're at and it is. Or we could go down the street and it was snow covered, go up the street and it's not. And so from this static point that we're at right here at Skyline and Cornell, you get that dusting of snow that's on the road, kind of more of a wet snow for here right now. For now, let's send it back to you guys.
All right, Devin, thank you. It sure is pretty up there. Folks who live there definitely used to it. We want to switch locations and take you out in Drive 8 this morning. Eric Patterson is behind the wheel. He says he's traveling west on Highway 30 near Scappoose. He tells us the thermometer is at 34 degrees, light fog and some light rain, but it looks smooth sailing from that vantage point.
So this morning we've got multiple crews out on the road in different neighborhoods. Now let's get to our crew in Salem. Bryant Clerkley and photographer Chad Dehart headed that way earlier this morning. And Bryant, where exactly are you at? What are you seeing?
Hey Christine, we are in downtown Salem right now, and not much precipitation in Salem, but on the way down here we were traveling from Portland down I-5, and it's a little spotty. We saw some large snowflakes coming down, and it was switching over from snow to rain throughout our hour drive down here, and there was some snow building up on the side of the roads and in some lanes between Portland and Salem. And it was a little windy on the way down here, but once we got into Salem, the precipitation seemed to stop, and there's not a lot of snow or any snow on the ground really. So yeah, we're here downtown right now, but if you're traveling from Portland to Salem this morning, drivers might want to go slow and be very careful. The roads could be a little slick. You will see some of that dusting of snow build up on the sides of the roads, but that was about all we saw on our way down here. Back to you guys.
All right, Brian Clerkley reporting live for us this morning, part of our team coverage of today's event. Not even going to throw the word snow into it just yet.
No.
Rod Hill hustling in to fill that gap you see right there.
Yeah.
He was
Well, I
running.
think most areas, this is overwhelmingly snow as opposed to more of a mix, according to what the radar indicates. And most areas have seen at least snow in the air this morning. This has been on the light side. You know, as a forecaster, here's your forecast. You want to be right in the bullseye. Man, we were exactly right. Sometimes you get a little bit more than you thought. Sometimes it's less. So far, this has been less. I was really surprised to see Devin report only a dusting up in the West Hills, for example.
I'll let you catch your breath for a minute because I
Thank
knew
you.
you were running in from the Weather Center. So take a breath. I have a question for you. Oh, they're going to take your weather shot anyways. But my question was, even on days like we saw lots of mid-40s leading up to today, it didn't seem like there was the build-up to a big snow event anyways.
Well, remember, we never expected, I mean, at the worst, this looked to be maybe the top of the West Hills would have 3 to 4 inches, and maybe we could get 6 inches when you got up in some of the Cascade foothill communities, including Sandy. But below that, we thought downtown Portland would stay wet, going back to my sunrise forecast yesterday morning. And then when you got up to 200 feet and to 500 feet, now you would start to see increasing dustings to maybe an inch or two. For the most part, the hills have only been a dusting to an inch. So again, it's been less. The one spot that we hit the bullseye was up in the mountains. Mount Hood Meadows and Timberline both report 16 inches. And looks like the Coast Range Summit, I don't have a report, but eyeballs from the camera, maybe Kristen McGinnis has seen something, looks to me like maybe 6 inches up toward the summit in the Coast Range. So those passes are snow covered. Okay, right now, mostly Cascades. There's the Coast Range. It's raining at the coast. We're in a lull. Now, it doesn't mean snow showers could still pick up in the coming hour or so, but right now things have kind of quieted down. It's mostly just some scattered stray flurries up and down I-5 itself. Early morning numbers, kind of where we thought they would be. Near freezing to above. Lowest elevations downtown Portland, Pearson Airfield, both at 36 degrees. You get out into Washington County, you're a little bit higher. Hillsboro's at 32. Happy Valley, obviously a little bit higher, 31. Salem, 34. I thought they might turn into more of a snow burst. There's one more disturbance that we're tracking that's coming south of Portland down to the Mid-Valley. And Salem had seen snow showers in the air pick up, but as Bryant Clerkley just reported to us, and as we just saw on radar, that too is kind of fizzled out. So the system so far, in terms of total precip, really seems to be underperforming, if you will. Here are the other numbers. 35 out in the Dalles. Cameras I saw out in the gorge from Karsten and the Hood River show some snow on the ground, but temperatures, again, not too bad. Remember, part of the weather story was this was a westerly flow overall with that Gulf of Alaska air front coming in, and it would be difficult to get down to freezing or colder in many spots. That has turned out to be true here on the west side of our state. Later today, we're dry. So these snowflake emblems, that's AM snow, including out in the blues. Otherwise, we go dry this afternoon and we warm up into the 40s in the gorge and the coast, the valley. And if you have just a touch of snow at your place, that'll be melting away. Hard freeze tonight, but roadways should be dry, 26 to 45. And then have a couple of light shower chances, but none of this looks like much all the way into the weekend. Mr. McGinnis, what do you know, sir?
Well, we can give you a little tour of the roads right now with our ODOT cameras. This is a live look, I-5 at 217. You see water on the camera lens and cars making that notorious slick ramp that sometimes gets slick on 217 northbound here. And they're having no problem. In fact, you can see the road spray coming up off the cars there. Let's switch gears. We'll give you one live camera look if we can. And it's not going to do that. I wanted to show you the Sylvan Hill. There is some snow, of course, as we've showed you in the higher terrain. And guys, to Rod's point, I did check out some of the cameras outside of the immediate metro area. The Coast Range are absolutely snow covered. Highway 26, Highway 6, even the coastal highways heading towards the Newport area. Also, for anyone that has traveled south, down towards the Eugene area and Point South, conditions are much different down there. I-5 is snow covered once you get south of the Eugene area, and it looks like it's pretty significant. I'll hope to have some pictures of that for you coming up in just a bit.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Don, hi. I'm glad to see you this morning. We weren't sure if we were going to get you just in time. Hey, give us a sense of what you're seeing and what your crews are seeing on the roads locally in the Portland metro area right now.
Well, we're out there on the roads right now, but we're really not seeing much. I mean, we've got all our crews out there on the roads. They're ready for whatever, but you know what? They don't have a lot to do out there on the roads right now. We got the plows out there, but the roads pretty much are just wet out there right now.
And that goes for low terrain and some of the higher terrain in your specific area as well?
When you get up into the upper terrains, when you get up into the Coast Range, you get up into the Cascades, there's a little bit more to do, as Rod has just been telling us. You get up into Government Camp, up into that area. Yeah, there's some snow up in those areas for sure, up there. So definitely there's a lot to do up in the mountains for sure. But around in the Portland area, we've had our crews out really all through the night, ready with the plows, ready to do whatever needs to be done. But let's just say we really haven't had to exhaust all of our winter resources, except for our workers out there. They've been working hard tonight, ready for whatever's coming. But there really hasn't been a lot to do on the roads.
Overtime for the ODOT crews. Don, thank you so much. We'll send it back to the anchors. We'll check back in with you a little bit later, see if there's any changes coming up this morning.